Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a library for an entire month in Africa? Well, stick around because I'm going to share what it was like living in the Library of Africa in the African Diaspora in Accra, Ghana. Welcome back to the Literary Lori YouTube channel. My name is Lori L. Tharps. If you're new here, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I am a writer, author, journalist, former tenured college professor who left the United States to move to the south of Spain so that I could live a more global literary life and I could pursue my lifetime dream of being a novelist. Now, I have written and published a novel, a very good one, I might say, called Substitute Me, but I wanted to move to Spain so that I could focus full time on writing fiction and pursuing all of my creative writing passions, and also to live a more global literary life, to see what the world had to offer, to see what the world was doing with authors who were not white people from the United States or the UK. Not that I have anything against white writers, but it's just been, that's been the focus of my literary life for most of my life. And so I wanted to see what else the world had to offer. So that's what this YouTube channel is about charting my experiences, leaning into a global literary life and leaning into writing fiction. So this video is about what happened when I decided to test out how far I'd come on my new global literary life by applying for a residency, a writing residency at the Library of Africa in the African Diaspora. Okay, let me just say right now, that is such a mouthful, and they refer to the library as LOATAD, which is just the acronym. So I'm going to keep using that in this video as much as possible. So anyway, I saw the call for a writing residency for writers of the African diaspora. I applied and I got it. I was very excited, and it felt like validation that I was on the right track with this pursuit of fiction and this pursuit to connect more with the global literary audience. So from a writing residency perspective, it was amazing. I spent the month of March 2025 in Accra, living in the library, and I was working on editing the manuscript for my new novel. And while I was there, there were 4 other writers in residency as well, 2 from Ghana, 1 from Nigeria, and another African American writer. And we're all working, on our own projects, but we workshopped our work together. We went on field trips together around the city of Accra and elsewhere in Ghana. We were in conversation with other writers and scholars in Ghana and even from other countries on the continent who came and shared their experiences with us, shared their work with us. So all in all, as a residency, it was an amazing program, an amazing opportunity. And I will leave the links for that residency if you're interested in applying for it yourself. I'm not actually sure if they're going to keep running it or they're going to run it again next year, but still, you can look into it. So all said, the residency was amazing. But this video, what I want you guys to get excited about is the library itself, because you don't have to wait to get a residency in order to visit the Library of Africa and the African Diaspora. Again, LOATAD. If you love books and Black people as much as I do, and you're into literary tourism like I am, which is what I want to share more of on this channel, but if you love, going to different countries and seeing all the bookish things that they have going on in these countries, then you have to go visit this library, okay? So, it's worth it. If you are just planning on going to Ghana, make sure you plan to go see this library. If you live in Accra, go and check out the library. Let me just give you the lowdown on the library itself. So the library was founded in 2017 by a wonderful woman. Her name is Sylvia Arthur. She is Ghanaian, but was raised in the UK. But she moved back to Ghana in 2017 and started this library with her own private collection of books. It has since grown and expanded. They've outgrown like every location they were in because the collection keeps getting bigger and bigger. It now contains over 4,000 books and materials, all by authors of the African diaspora, okay? The library is a private library, but they say they are a private library with a public mission. They're all about decolonizing the literary canon. They are working hard tackling illiteracy across the African continent. And in general, they're trying to bring more positive attention to the writers, authors, and the books of the African diaspora. And they're doing an amazing job. And they have lots of initiatives to accomplish their mission. But mission aside, this place is magical, okay? Walking into the Library of Africa and the African diaspora is like walking into a holy place, or a church of books, if you will. The manager of the library, his name is Seth, and he refers to the library as a shrine for our literary ancestors, both living and deceased. And it really does feel like a shrine. The books are beautifully organized. There are pictures on the walls of our famous literary ancestors, everybody from Langston Hughes to Chinua Achebe to Toni Morrison. You can't help but feel like you're in a holy space when you're in this room, when you're in this library. I like it the way they talk about the library. They say that when you walk into the library, you are walking through a door of return to African diasporic knowledge, as opposed to, when our ancestors were taken onto the slave ships and they walked through the door of no return. Now they can return to all of the knowledge that was taken away, hidden, and destroyed in that transatlantic slave trade. And it really does feel like you are returning to a place where you can visit all these different worlds, because the books are organized by geographic location. So you have books by African authors, books by American authors, North and South American, books by European authors. So it's almost like you're traveling around the world, around the diaspora, and connecting with the knowledge that had been kind of disappeared, if you will, disappeared as a verb. And the space itself is beautiful. It is a library, but there's high ceilings and bright, airy sunlight streaming through the skylights. You can't help but feel like this is, again, a holy space. I keep saying that, but I really mean it. And not only do you have these wonderful books of fiction, nonfiction, poetry, photography, but you also literally have, like the typewriters of famous writers and first edition collections of rare books by African authors. You have a section of the library dedicated to the Mbari movement from Nigeria. You really are walking through what feels like a historical monument, but like a living monument to African and diasporic history and culture. It's I, as a person who does, in fact, love books and Black people, this space really made me want to just sit and read and ingest and absorb all of the knowledge and culture that was in this one space. That's what's so amazing about it. It's all in one space. So please, if you get a chance to visit the library, you must do so. But remember, this is a private library, so you can't just pop in off the street and, check it out. You do need to make an appointment, but they're always happy to make appointments and tours for groups or individuals. But also, the library is in an area called Adenta, which is like a suburb of Accra. So you aren't going to just bump into it if you're, on a tour group or something that's kind of going to the big sites of Accra. So yeah, it's a little bit out of the way. So you do have to be intentional to see the library, to make an appointment to get there. But also, if you follow LOATAD on Instagram and get on their mailing list, they are always having really exciting events there. While I was there for my residency, it just so happened that the No Name Book Club was having their first meeting there in Accra. There were other book clubs that meet there. They often have public lecture series. They have really cool debates that this one publisher organizes. And the debates are, on relevant cultural issues, but they are also linked to a book or a short story that everybody's talking about at the time. So maybe you don't want to do a tour by yourself. Just stay on their, follow their Instagram account out, stay on their mailing list, and see what kind of cool events. There are regular events, usually on the weekends or in the evenings. So again, if you're just visiting, hopefully you'll coincide with something that they're doing. Or if you live in Accra, check them out. Check out the different events that they have there. All right. That's all I have to say about the library. If you love books and Black people, you love literary tourism, make sure you put the library on your list of places to visit when you go to Accra. Heck, I would go to Accra just to see the library. I guess I actually did that already. So yeah, that's it. If you do go or you've been, leave a note in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. And if you have any questions, I do my best to answer if you want. And also, if you have ideas about other places that I, as a person who loves books and Black people, should visit, let me know. And stick around and I'll see you at the, where will I see you? I'll see you in the next video. All right. Have a great day. Keep reading, keep writing. Bye.